the 22nd and the 23rd of April 2015, UNESCO chair at University of Nairobi, in partnership with the Kenya National Commission for UNESCO, organized a two-day sensitization forum and consultative meeting at the University of Nairobi to review the state of UNESCO chairs in Kenya with a view to better position them to play a key role in national development. The event also provided an opportunity to sensitize the public about the role of UNESCO chairs in Kenya's higher education and to the society at large.
I am indeed very delighted that you are here today at this opening ceremony of UNESCO Chairs consultative meeting. UNESCO initiated the UNESCO Unitwin Chairs and associated networks in the year 1992.
UNESCO chairs were expected to act as bridges linking universities to states, policymakers, civil society, and ordinary citizens. Kenya has established 4 UNESCO chairs initially.
This university, the University of Nairobi, a UNESCO chair was established in 1997. And I want to confirm to all of you that I'm confident that this chair has registered major achievements.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm encouraging the National Commission to publicize more this important program so that universities can take advantage of it to establish more chairs on the priority areas relevant to the achievement of Vision 2030 and the SDGs, and to put in place, I think that's very important, to put in place a national mechanism, a kind of platform where such chairs can share, disseminate the knowledge. Because the point here is not only to produce the knowledge has to help to address a social issue.
Leadership such as is provided by UNESCO Unitwin Chair is given its place in our conversation as a nation, as a society.
In today's meeting, we hope to establish why Africa has failed to establish more UNESCO university chairs and Unitwin networks.
Globally, the UNESCO Unitwin program was established in 1992 to promote international inter-university cooperation worldwide using 2 institutional approaches, namely the creation of UNESCO chairs on specific subject matters in established universities and the creation of university twinning networks, Unitwin, to facilitate synergy and cooperation between and among university programs that share common objectives. The first UNESCO chair in Kenya was established at University of Nairobi in 1998, and since then 4 additional chairs have established: Egerton University, Bioethics, Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, Biotechnology, and Moi University, Science. 17 years since the creation of the first chair in Kenya, it was important to take a deep breath and pause to reflect on both their achievements and challenges with the objective of reshaping their orientation such that they will contribute to national development.
The UNESCO Unitwin Chairs platform provides an opportunity to universities to transfer knowledge and capacity in the spirit of academic solidarity. UNESCO established this platform so that universities are able to focus on training, research activities covering all UNESCO areas of competence, namely natural sciences, social and human sciences, education, culture, communication, and information.
UNESCO Unitwin Chair comes with distinct advantages. It is able, in this kind of context, to be a bridge between the high and mighty. We can have distinguished professors and cabinet secretaries having conversations with students, courtesy of UNESCO Unitwin Chair.
The aim of UNESCO Unitwin Chairs network is to strengthen the inter-university cooperation through the creation of innovative modalities for regional and international academic cooperation, facilitation of transfer exchange and sharing of knowledge among universities, thus bridging the knowledge gap.
In his keynote address, Professor Michael Chege touched on the following issues: the history of UNESCO chairs.
One of the most important innovations by UNESCO towards this end in recent times has been the creation and inauguration of UNESCO Unit Twin Chairs. Of the 661 UNESCO chairs last March, Africa as a whole had only 79, that is 10% of the region, in which 50% of the population is under 19 years. And that's where the pressure is acutest. Pressure for education, pressure for employment, because we have a young population, and Africa has a younger population presented, proportionately speaking, than any other developing region, that the pressures tend to be high, and that's why you find youth getting recruited into violent activities, unemployment, crime. The fact that we only have 11% of those 661 UNESCO chairs ought to be a cause of concern.
Their funding.
UNESCO chairs might get some seed funding, a little seed funding, support from the local office, but material support is supposed to come primarily from the UNESCO commissions in the countries concerned, from universities, from communities, and from the non-governmental, non-profit organizations.
Kenya's experience with the UNESCO chairs.
Our performance has not been where it ought to be. Kenya should not be a so-so mediocre performer. We have to do better than this.
How best to rethink the strategies?
The first option of rethinking the strategy is to think of the great UNESCO chairs and unit win cases from which we could learn from and which we could imitate. In South Africa, as I said, the Oliver Tambo care chair in Fort Hare and the networks associated with it would be an interesting place to visit. But as I was exploring my way around institutions to copy, the University of Edinburgh International Development Center, which links partners around the world, north and south, north and north, in global developments, would be another interesting model to look at. Not only does it link partners around the world, its primary focus is the development concerns of sub-Saharan Africa.
And finally, the future of the UNESCO chairs.
The best place to begin in developing and cultivating an African culture of endowed chairs in our own higher education. This is an opportune moment to do that. I began, as I said, in this discussion, with a brief discussion on the generic qualities of advanced chairs, of endowed chairs, as they exist when privately funded, which is mainly the American model, or the European model, which is largely state-funded, and why endowed chairs and endowed programs are not as strongly emphasized as they are in North America.
With Kenya facing many challenges, the forum served as a platform to question and deliberate on how the UNESCO chairs in Kenya can help solve the challenges that affect our nation.
This event is being held during a time in which our people in this country are scared. They're afraid. There are people who want to divide us and to make us feel divided along religious lines. They want to confuse us. They want to disable us. That is where we are as a country.
The challenge are the evils that we are fighting. If you look at corruption, where do we get corruption from? And what is the offshoot of corruption? It is poverty. What is the offshoot of corruption? It is lack of security. Because you bribe a policeman, you are bringing insecurity into a nation.
The challenges of corruption, the challenges of tribalism, the challenges of lost integrity and poor leadership that we face in this country has started in the minds of men and women. It is in our minds that we must revisit the question of integrity, the question of leadership.
How does the production of knowledge feed into addressing those problems?
what that knowledge I put on my paper, which was published, reviewed, how come that knowledge can be translated some way so that it can change the life of somebody somewhere else? I think that should be the new mindset, so that knowledge gathered within universities can assist countries to shape their policies, can assist countries so that they can address in an effective and evidence-based way societal issues.
I challenge all of you to make good use of this opportunity provided by this forum to deliberate on how best to curb the challenges that afflict our nation.
The theme of the panel discussion, the role of universities in national development, focused on discussions around the role of universities in preventing radicalization and extremism amongst young people, as well as problematizing the role of UNESCO chairs globally.
Never distinguish in the face of a child whether he is a terrorist. You can never distinguish in the face of a child whether he is corrupt. You'll never see that. And you can never distinguish in the face of a child that he's going to be a drug addict or a drug dealer. So what happens to make these people who are very innocent become terrorists? What happens that makes them become corrupt? Certainly, it is something that we do to the mind. There is need for us, as we go along, to hear more scholarly work being done in analyzing the etiology of becoming a terrorist. Is it in time that we spend some time in the university studying some of these aspects so that we can know them better? Migration of our people, thinking that there is Cana in Europe. What makes a country leadership subject its citizens to the conditions that they must want to migrate to Europe?
UNESCO pushes member states to generate knowledge in the spheres of competence by identifying the most important emerging problems and identifying the most appropriate strategies and policies to deal with them. So I am excited to hear Professor Wandiga highlighting actually terrorism as one of the emerging issues, corruption as one of emerging issues, and of course other social problems. Of course, other functions of UNESCO is being a standard setter by forging a universal agreement on emerging ethical issues. And this is where, indeed, universities can really come together and probably come up with some policies or forge some agreements that can help to develop this country.
Rightly put, I would like to emphasize that UNESCO is doing all that it can to promote the society problems that we encounter. I'm picking it up from Dr. Lamin and the issues of youth. And I would like to share a university experience on a program we call Student Training for Entrepreneurial Promotion, STEP. STEP is a program that builds the minds of the youth to then get them well focused on job opportunities. Not exactly to be job seekers, but then to be job creators. STEP program has been running Kenyatta University for the last 4 years under the support of NATCOM, UNESCO. And so UNESCO is doing a lot in terms of promoting the youth.
On the point of, is it possible for us to consume our societies to consume the knowledge that is produced in this country and across the continent? Of course, the answer to that is obvious, is yes. But the question is, how do we do that? We have to, again, dialogue is very important. We have to bridge that gap between the knowledge that we produce and those who are responsible for ensuring that that knowledge which is indigenous to us is really translated into the decisions that we make that affect the lives of people. This forum really, gives us the opportunity to begin to interrogate that concern that UNESCO has, that in fact, social science knowledge and in fact intellectual knowledge, of all its kind should actually be able to feed into policy responses that leads to specific actions that address social problems.
The way I look at our challenges here in the universities is that we do have a lot of knowledge. The library here is full of what has been got from research, but how are we using this knowledge? Yes, we are the center of knowledge. We are the think tanks. We are the center of knowledge, and we also are very good in policy making. What can we do? What can we do with those who implement the policies? What can we do with them so that we can have what is produced in these places becoming what we need in the country?
When we talk of capacities, are we saying that private universities do not have the capacity? Because even in the representation there, we're not represented. Yes. We have 4 chairs in Kenya. None of them is in a private university. We have the capacity, I'm telling you. We're here. We have, in our university, we have the Institute of Regional Integration and Development. Is it possible to have a chair hosted by our university through that department to focus on inter-regional integration, immigration, free movement of persons, and also intercultural and interreligious relations?
In UNESCO, we are very much committed to working with young people. And I think to the extent that we are having this discussion where a lot of young people are present, it also speaks to the institutional mandate and commitment that we have to promote civic engagement and dialogue.
Following the 2-day sensitization and consultative forum, the following communique was issued. We, the stakeholders participating in the first sensitization and consultative forum of UNESCO chairs in Kenya, gathered at the University of Nairobi main campus, multi-purpose hall and council chamber from 22nd to 23rd April 2015 to deliberate on the role and future of UNESCO chairs program under the theme Knowledge Creation, Innovation and Sustainable Development, with support from Kenya National Commission for UNESCO, UNESCO Regional Office for East Africa and the University of Nairobi hereby recognize the importance of UNESCO chairs in the creation, preservation and dissemination of knowledge in national development, as well as building capacity in the spirit of intellectual solidarity. Welcome the initiative of having vibrant UNESCO chairs to serve as a platform for intellectual engagement among relevant stakeholders in society and promotion of inter-university cooperation with a view to contribute to sustainable development in Kenya. Deeply concerned that Kenya and the African region is severely underrepresented in the UNESCO chairs program. Acknowledge the challenges of visibility, effectiveness, sharing of knowledge and long-term sustainability of the UNESCO chairs in Kenya. Commend the 2 active UNESCO chairs in Kenya, namely the UNESCO Chair for Women, Education and Sustainable Development at the University of Nairobi and UNESCO Chair in Bioethics at Egerton University. And we do hereby congratulate the University of Nairobi on hosting the first sensitization and consultative forum on UNESCO chairs in Kenya. Call on the management of universities to support UNESCO chairs, urge friendly partners and stakeholders to support UNESCO chairs, commit to organize at least once every 2 years a UNESCO Chairs Forum to reflect on their respective mandates and their impact on sustainable development, commit to move away from the traditional functions of UNESCO Chairs and focus more on sustainable community outreach programs, call on UNESCO Chairs to leverage their standing in universities and use that to create a platform where decision makers can engage in policy discussions with academic and research communities with a view to strengthening research policy nexus in the interest of managing social transformations. Commit to collaborative formulation of fundraising strategies by universities to support UNESCO chairs. Call on Kenya National Commission for UNESCO and UNESCO Regional Office to work with UNESCO chairs in sensitizing prospective UNESCO chairs. Call for formulation of strategic action plans by the respective UNESCO chairs and sharing with relevant stakeholders. Call on UNESCO chairs to reach out to other UNESCO chairs in Africa and globally with a view of establishing intellectual solidarity and sharing experiences. Call on NATCOM to ensure that this communique is presented to the next session of the UNESCO Executive Board and the 38th UNESCO General Conference.